Never stop chasing your dreams.
And never say never.
No problem. JD is just stuck in holiday traffic because she lives. Hello, honey. She lives down by the beach, and everyone is going to be.
4th of July, baby.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So she's trying to get home from work, and just said, "I'm probably going to be a little bit late." And I'm like, "They're going to take it personal."
We are totally taking it personally, aren't we?
The last time she was at the Heart concert.
She bailed. Oh, that's right. She was at the Heart concert.
Yes, indeed. But she's so she's gonna just pop on when she gets home.
Okay.
Freshened up. You know, rock stars, man, they got to look a certain way all the time.
Oh, geez. Yeah. So does this one. So
I understand.
Wow. I got bedhead still.
But
I got a hat on.
I was just walking and working out. I thought I had time.
That's what I told her. I was like,
guess what?
So you're getting me in the workout clothes.
It's okay. You know the lesbians. We're okay with that.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
100% okay.
Nice.
Sweaty and healthy, you know. So you guys have been like around the world and back, right?
Since we talked, yeah.
I know. It's crazy. And Christin and Stacey, I forgot to say your names. I'm so bad at this. You know what? It's been like 20 years and I still can't like pull my shit together.
Yeah. Well, you know, you can edit all that other stuff out. We can just start right now.
Yeah. Welcome, Christin and Stacey of Let's
Thank
Go
you.
Show.
Hey. So good to see you again.
So yeah, I was catching up, and when we last spoke from Wilton Drive in the Hood in Florida,
yes.
You guys were getting ready to launch the longer version of what you're doing on the socials. So how's that going?
Fantastic.
So much
We're
fun.
so happy with the edits, with the way people have been receiving the show. Like, it's been so great to get the response from it.
It's fantastic that you're like kind of singular focused on spotlighting like the women of our community, but all over the globe. It's not just like, you know, what's convenient, what's easy, like, yay, right here in Nashville, oh, in Chicago. Like, you guys are fucking heading out to like Europe and shit. It's fantastic. Like, you were in Barcelona, weren't you?
Yeah.
Barcelona, Ibiza, Croatia.
It's crazy. I wish I would have known you were heading there because I got two friends actually that were in Spain, and they were both kind of whan about like not knowing anything about the community and where to go. And I was like, oh man, I could have hooked you gals up.
Yeah.
Jesus. But you're just like exploring different venues and businesses, and it happened to dip into a Pride or two. That's cool. But but I like that you're like digging in deep and going to like local spots that women are hanging out in. What has been your, I don't want to say favorite, because that's like asking like your favorite child, and it's like,
that's hard.
Yeah. But what has been like the best experience where it's been like overwhelming, you know, to a point? Is it abroad or is it somewhere back in the States?
Do you have one?
Well, yeah, one came right to my mind, Santa Fe.
Yeah.
I just fell in love with that city.
Oh, yeah.
And the queer community there was just fantastic. We went on a pride train. We went on a pride party on a train.
Oh my God.
I mean,
that's fantastic. No drinking and driving.
Like amazing. Like the scenery, I couldn't get over it. I had never been to Santa Fe, so I was already like trying to process how beautiful it is there. But to be on the train with all of our people together celebrating Pride was just amazing.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Like I've always heard really good things about Santa Fe, mainly from Dana Goldberg.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, right? Because she does like the Southwest Funny Something Festival all the time. And it, the pictures always look amazing. It is one of those places that I feel like I would probably, be okay. I'd probably be okay. Is it sweaty?
In
I
Santa
didn't
Fe.
think so.
Well, you guys are little. Like, think like a fat person.
Well, no,
It got
it's
cold at
elevated.
night.
It's an elevation. It's like 7,400 feet up.
Yeah.
It's the high desert, so it doesn't get like
Humid.
heat. Like,
Right.
Okay. So
yeah, like I had a sweat. It was May. I had a sweatshirt on one night, one of the nights.
yeah.
Okay, I could totally handle
So
that.
you can totally
And
do that.
the food, let me just tell you, the salsa, I'm like huge salsa freak. Okay. I'm always going to the restaurants. I know each restaurant by the way the salsa tastes.
Yeah.
And let me just tell you, there's one restaurant there that I'm still,
Dreaming about.
Since we went, and I'm still waking up sometimes being like, hey, I really just want that salsa from that restaurant in Santa Fe.
Remember that salsa?
So good. I asked for a to go one, and I went back to the hotel and drank it like a cup of coffee. I didn't even need chips.
It's true.
That is
my witness. I really did that.
That's
hardcore.
That's how good the salsa was.
Yeah, it was hardcore. And two, I think with Santa Fe, I have a different answer, Denise, just to kind of shake it up. But like, what is cool too is like a lot of the places we're going to, we don't really know people. So when we go to LGBTQ events, we're really getting a feel for how welcoming the vibe is. And Santa Fe was also incredibly welcoming.
It was.
Like people would come up and talk to us, and like, it can be kind of like, lesbians can be like territorial sometimes and gay men, but Santa Fe was phenomenally welcoming. So that was really fun too.
Does it help or hurt that you guys have you have cameras following you around a little bit, right? For the long footage or no?
We try and keep our footprint really small. So it's really just me and a phone and my camera phone.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, I have if we're doing a sit down interview, I have a rig and lights and everything. But when we're kind of wanting to be really experiencing the moment and incognito, we just look like we're influencers, like filming or social media stuff.
Okay, that's cool.
And we do that on purpose so that it doesn't
so people aren't just trying to get their mug on there, right?
Or being super nice to us.
And then being bitchy. Yeah.
So it really doesn't look like that we have a TV show.
That's great.
Unless, like I said, unless we're doing a sit down interview with someone.
Right. And what about those? Those are pretty cool, like one-on-ones kind of.
Yeah, and that's what I was gonna say. One of my favorite spots was a lesbian bar in Barcelona.
Really?
And we interviewed the owner of the lesbian bar, and she also does events around there. And we had to get a translator because she spoke English, but not super fluent. And she was like, I really want someone to translate. And they were both just so kind and wonderful. And we had a really great interview, and being able to lift up a lesbian bar in Barcelona and the owner, what she does was so fulfilling for me, and they were just really lovely. So that's
fantastic, because I remember going to Sitges, right outside of Barcelona, not knowing that's more of a gay men territory, and felt extremely out of place. And it wasn't the height of Pride season or anything like that. It was really quiet, but you just felt it, And then when we were in Barcelona, we didn't have time really to research anything. We were only there for 3 days, and we met up with do you remember Shannon Wentworth from Sweet Cruise? Yeah. So they were still doing their thing, sort of, and they were leaving out of Barcelona, but we just went and hung out with everybody that was going to go on the boat. And Shannon was there and everything. So they just kind of took over a rooftop bar. And I remember that being that felt good. Like oh man, we should have been in Barcelona all along. Would we waste a week in Sitges feeling like an outcast, you know? But yeah, that was really, really fun. Like the whole area was so pretty, like so nice. All the squares and the
Oh,
food. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
ooh, the
Best
variety.
paella,
yeah.
the best paella I ever had in my life.
Oh,
Like,
Oh, the
yes.
paella. Oh
oh my
my
God,
God.
I still dream about it. I still dream about it. It's ridiculous. It's so
Yeah,
crazy.
I get
exactly.
Everybody
that.
was, everybody's like, "What'd you do? What'd you see?" And I'm like, "Let me tell you about the paella."
Yeah,
Paella.
So
I totally,
yeah, but that's
totally
like
get.
another cool part of being able to travel and immerse yourself kind of in the community. But also side note, great food, testing all the food everywhere. That's great. But like, yeah, I caught a clip of I think it was the interview with the woman in Barcelona, and it just seemed like it was it was so like heartwarming, to kind of like hear her story and listen to what she's doing there because like I don't know about you guys, but lately it just seems like you can't really find, and that's great what you're doing because you can't really find a lesbian owned and operated venue
Yeah,
anymore.
right.
Like I know there's like in Florida, we've lost like all of them pretty much.
Yeah.
There's just none. But, there's a lesbian owned and operated restaurant that does really, really well because Carol Moran is like the Pied Piper of South Florida lesbians, and everybody just flocks, to whatever she's doing. She was the one that owned probably the last well-known lesbian bar and then like sold it, to open up restaurants because I do think like cooking and stuff is her passion, but people respond to like anything she does and it seems like there's always that one, in a community that is, the quintessential lesbian event promoter, director, or whatever. And so, do you go in seeking that person, or is it about the venue or the whole place, or just like a person?
It's both. Like
Yeah,
it's
but
happened to be both. And
Uh-huh.
so, yeah. So I think we've been really lucky that it's like people, as we talk to them about things, are like, oh, you should talk to so and so, or let me connect you
Connect.
with a person. And so that's been what's really been amazing is um the people that we've stumbled upon who and that's what it was with the lesbian bar in Barcelona is like a friend of ours when we told she was like, oh, I know someone who has a lesbian bar there, let me connect you. And it
Yeah.
was like,
Yeah.
so or I also Stacey, when we were in Santa Fe, message went on to a lesbian message board and people there were giving suggestions about what to do as well.
That's how we found out about the Pride train.
Oh my
Yeah.
If it hadn't been for that woman, I don't. How would we have known?
How
Yeah.
would you, right, exactly. Like, how would you? That's like, that's what I mean. I always say, I think because of my past and with the Lesbian Lounge show, I, I, all my contacts like are still intact. You know what I mean? And I still use them to this day to say like, oh, you know what would be great? Hook up with so and so. Let me, get you their contact information and all that stuff. It's like, it's like a treasure chest, of people and places and performers and musicians and all that kind of stuff. And it's so, like I feel sad for people that just kind of let their contacts just drop off, like they're on to something else and they don't really
Yeah.
look back. Are you kidding me? I'm firmly rooted in my past. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, 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 the future is bright, whatever. But you know what? My past was like my peak. So I carry like all that with me all the time. And it's just a great way to get people connected, and that's fantastic for you guys because I'm
Yeah.
sure like people just kind of come crawling out of the woodwork. Like I said, if I'd have known you were in
Yeah.
Spain, like all these people, I would have just pushed them on you. But it's fantastic that there's so many, and maybe we just don't know,
I
anymore. Like
think
I don't
that's
get
it.
it
And
anymore.
we don't want to do the things that everyone knows either. Like
Right.
we
Right.
don't, if we go to Palm Springs, like we're not going to go for the Dinah. And I love Mariah. I think she's great. I've been many years, but the Dinah doesn't need our help to lift it up. Like
Exactly.
we want to go to like the random lesbian event or the LGBT film festival, or, you know, we're really looking to lift up people and events and places that are a huge part of the community, but not everyone like totally knows about. That's why
Yeah.
Velvet Ibiza was another great example. Like that's a lesbian event that's been happening for 15 years and people don't know about it. And it's just this fantastic, incredible community that's been happening for a week over there for the last 15 years. And so
And the woman who runs it is like this awesome lesbian chick. Like, and so I'm so glad that we got to interview her. So that way everybody can hear her story and see why she puts on this event for the past 15 years.
Yeah. Because it's the support, I think, that's wavering, you know, along with everything else that's happening over there. You're like, you know, your rights are going to get flushed down the toilet and all that other kind of stuff that is so close to being on the brink. It starts infiltrating, I think, people's minds, and either they're consumed by it and they're not really thinking outside of anything, you know, about anything else. You know, like we have an election coming up tomorrow to get, to get it's a
crazy.
big push to get the Tories out because they're kind of like the Republicans and they've been running shit for 14 years and they've made a mess of everything from Brexit right up, you know, to today. And, you know, it's, and I think it was a big part of Pride. You know, it was a huge part of Pride, I think, the politics of it. And I mean, there were booths to show you how to vote tactically to get a Tory out of your, you know, out of an MP seat so that they're out of power. And I mean, like it's really a big deal, and it will be a big deal tomorrow. But the same thing is going to happen with you guys in 7 months, you know, and it's going to be critical. And I just think right now people are just getting consumed with it, and we're not doing the balance of, you know, taking care of yourself. You know what I mean? Like, because we're putting everything into this, whether it's rage tweeting or, you know, posting or whatever, but you have to take time out for yourself and do those things and immerse yourself in the community. Like one of my guests, Susie Fox, trans activist, amazing woman. And she said she looks forward to Pride season because of that sense of community, but also it recharges you. Like it recharges you and it gives you the energy to go forward. And I think having your show for people that can't get out there and do these things, you know, it's a way to sit and watch and say, oh man, it's happening everywhere. You know, like this is good stuff. And it's a way to recharge. Yeah.
So much.
What were your thoughts on Ibiza? What did you think of it? Was it a party town? Was it, because I've always heard it was just like a hellscape for drugs and all that kind of stuff. But I don't know.
Yeah, like that level. Well, okay, here's the thing. So we went to it after Barcelona, and Barcelona was, in my opinion, just like more romantic and like, you know,
yeah.
it was really hard for me to go from like that vibe, you know. And then we met the wonderful woman at the lesbian bar, and she took us to like this family owned restaurant, and it was so it's very like intimate feeling there. Then we went, you know, from there to go to this festival in Ibiza with, you know, and it was like party.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
So
definitely
a little hard to switch modes.
Yeah.
But I didn't see anybody like doing drugs or anything. Like it wasn't that hardcore.
Yeah. In fact, there were some areas that like shut down at like
in fact
12 or 1 a.m. And I was like, I thought this island never went to sleep.
Yeah, because one night we were hungry and it was sort of hard to find a place that was open to eat food.
Yeah.
So, and I have to say, Corinne did a very good job of the festival. As so like there was the party, you know, you could do all the partying, but She also offered yoga in the morning.
Yeah.
And she offered time, just to be
Be
at
by
the
the pool.
hotel and be by the pool and have gatherings without drinking and,
Balance.
partying.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
there was a nice little balance.
That's cool. That's interesting because I had like a friend of mine and their girlfriends were all like turning 40 within, I don't know, like 5 or 6 months. So they did like a big girls trip there, and I was just like, Jesus Christ, when I was looking at the picture, like
Yeah.
We might have been in the wrong area. We might have been in the quiet part of town.
I think
It's
we
very
were.
possible.
I
oh,
think
that's
we
funny.
were.
Could be. Yeah, yeah. But
Yeah.
I think there's people that just seek it out in Ibiza. Like they
Yeah.
just go
Oh
to
yeah, if
Absolutely.
you want to find it, you can find it.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
it's
The hippie market was my
I
favorite
was
thing
gonna
we
say,
did.
like,
We
yeah,
got there and some local people said like you have to go to the hippie market, and we didn't really know what to expect. So we're like, okay, well everyone keeps saying to go there, so we've got to do this. So we found out where it was. We went, and it was like this outdoor like flea market. Like,
it was
maybe
fancier than a
market's not
flea
good word to
market.
explain.
Like a
Yeah,
farm, like an
It was
upscale farmers
an
farmers
artist
market.
market with like high end stuff you could buy from people.
Oh, that's
Um,
nice.
Yeah, and like, so we got I got a dress, we got some jewelry, like
Yeah.
it was cool. There was like a band playing, there was things they were serving like drinks and food, and
yeah.
it was a big deal because you could tell like even local people were there, but tourists knew about it too. There was a lot of people there. They had come from everywhere, it kind of seemed like. So
Yeah.
that was
That's
a cool experience that we had.
Yeah, I love finding little things like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hi, Jay. You made it.
Hey, I am so sorry.
Hey.
The last time I had to leave early. This time I got here late. And please don't take it personally, girls. It is not you. I was like, oh, I hope they don't get upset. But look,
Not at all.
your name's
No.
on the wall.
Oh,
Yay!
yay.
That chalkboard
So-
was paying off in dividends.
Oh my gosh. I mean, it was a gallon of paint, and look at this. I mean, this a whole
So
new
fun.
world.
So fun. We were just I was talking to Christin and Stacey about all these amazing places they've been, like Barcelona and Ibiza and Santa Fe.
Love
And
it.
featuring these lesbian owned and operated venues and places, and saying that I think like people need it right now in this climate to especially to watch the longer versions. Like, yeah, everybody flips through socials, and that's fun
Mhm.
to see everything that's going on, but
Yeah.
to take a minute and watch the longer versions where you're digging in a little bit, I think is a great way to recharge and get your spirits back, because it's dark times, my friends.
Oh
Um,
my gosh, yeah.
we need it, and we need it. So what you're doing is it's important, fun as hell, I'm
I
sure.
love it. Yeah. What a great thing for a couple to do. How much
Yeah.
fun it's like, for bonding it's awesome. It's
Yeah.
awesome.
Last time we talked about travel tips, which I thought was so fun, and I did say to Gemma, okay, Kristen said that because I'm the uncomfortable one with travel, that you have to make it better for me. He was like,
You love that, right?
Oh,
no, she does
Oh
though.
man.
I said like, so I feel like we've got that part like totally nailed down. But let me ask you this. Are you guys compatible in what, like your energy levels? Like, oh, I want to go party. Well, I wanted to go shopping. Oh, I want to stop to get something to eat. It's like, does that become like, look, we have a job to do? We're like that.
I always want to go eat the desserts, and Kristen doesn't want to.
Yeah.
I always want to go to the bakery.
What? No, I totally believe that. I totally believe that. Because yeah, I
Seriously,
can see
that's like the only thing I can come up with. We're very compatible.
We're very compatible. Yeah.
We have so
I'm
much
just
fun
like
together.
in my head, I'm picturing you, Stacey, with a cup of salsa and a cupcake.
Nailed it. Nailed it.
That's fantastic.
Pretty
So
much.
your
That's
energy
great.
levels match. Like nobody's like,
I
this
think so. Yeah,
is
I
too
think
much.
Stacey's always the one who has the camera pointed at her. And so she's an extrovert, which is great. And I am an introvert. And so it just helps that she likes being on, she can be on. So I'm not expending a lot of energy that, pulls it from me. I just have the camera up and I'm asking her questions or filming her walking or, doing those things where I'm always like, what are we doing, Stacey?
Yeah.
She's like, well, we're going to the da-da-da, or we're doing this thing. Or so I think that's also what makes us compatible too. We both aren't fighting to be on the camera. Like we're both like, we're going to, and then the thing that takes the most energy is being on the camera and asking the questions. And that's what her strong suit is. So I think, I think if she's probably more of a night owl than I am, but not by like much. Like she's also really good about, me not wanting to party as much.
I mean, you're
compatible.
Yeah, but you're used to being behind the camera, like you always have been. So that's that's the comfortable spot for you. So that definitely works. I can totally see where that would work. Have you interviewed anybody and felt overwhelmingly emotional? Has anybody tugged on your heartstrings?
Good question, Denise.
Yeah. Someone came to mind immediately that we interviewed in Miami at the Pride Center. Yeah. Her name's Raji, and her interview is going to be very impactful and inspire a lot of people.
Yeah, she had a trans woman who actually quite famous. Like she's been on different news outlets, but she had black market face work done, and it went all wrong. So she was actually like botched to like kind of fix it. And she very much came forward to say trans women, when you can't afford it, can go in the black market, and this is what can happen. And she was just so empowering, and you really just like felt for what she's been through.
A shame. It is such a shame, That's
one
of
of
the things.
Did you say she was on the show, Fox?
Yeah, they did their best to kind of fix it.
And y'all, she's so positive. Yeah. Like she has this amazing energy, and she's like, she doesn't want you to feel sorry for her. She just wants to get her story out there so it doesn't happen to other people.
Yeah.
And
wow.
I
mean, that's important. Like the advocacy for something like that is so important because, that's always the things that they're fighting for here in the UK with this election is that, the first thing on the chopping block is trans healthcare, hormones and
right.
puberty blockers and all that kind of stuff, it makes everything so hard for them. And everybody always doubts them, like they don't know at that age. They don't know. They do,
They do.
you have to, trust them that they do know. And the fact that they have to go outside the lines to get things done, and have like a shoddy procedure or infections or things go wrong. And, it's heartbreaking, but, and again, it's going to be one of those things that is going to be the first thing that's like, nipped in the bud if we have a bad outcome, in November. So thank God that she is talking about it because it's really, really super important. It really is. I mean, among a million other things, but to have that kind of bravery, to just come forward and say it's like first of all admitting a mistake. You know what I mean? Like I shouldn't have done this. Nobody wants to say that, So I mean, kudos to her for coming forward and just saying, please let my story be a lesson, That's fantastic, honestly. And that was at the Pride Center in South Florida?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't think we had talked to you the day before that or after. I don't know the
day before. The day before.
So it was the week we talked to you when we were there.
Oh wow, yeah. Oh yeah, you went to the Skirt SoFlo magazine launch party. Did you love it? Did you have fun with the girls?
Oh my gosh.
Fantastic.
Blast.
Yeah, I love
I
that.
have
It's
a
so cool.
question. I don't know if you guys covered hopping on just now, but in your travels, because you go all over the world, right? You're traveling everywhere, right? Do you ever, because like when I travel in a hotel, and this goes back to the compatibility part, when I travel to hotels, I'm such a germaphobe freak about being in, and it doesn't necessarily have to be fancy, but I like it to be clean. So, like super clean. So, and because sometimes when you travel, you don't get the option of a Hilton or a Hyatt or a Marriott because you're in a small town or you're in an area where they don't have that. Because I ran into that when I was traveling on my homeland tour for the troops. And then when I went overseas a bit, I never knew where I was getting put up. But when you travel, have you guys ever like gotten to a place like that was far away, like another country, and then it was like skeevy and like you didn't know like how are we going to deal with this? It's like not
Well,
clean or
to
it's
be
not
fair though, like European
scary.
hotels are different. Don't
What's
you
that?
think?
Oh yeah.
European hotels are way different than what you'll find in the
I
States.
Oh yeah.
like
No
I've
elevators.
been oh no elevators, right? Like
Yeah.
have you ever been to a place that was like either scary or like not like up to standards or whatever, like, and then how do you deal with that if there's nowhere else to go?
The
I-
worst, literally the worst thing that's ever happened. We've been very lucky so far to actually have beautiful hotels, unexpectedly beautiful hotels. But when we got to Split, Croatia, the woman, when we checked in, she was like, "Oh, we actually ended up upgrading your room," which of course you love those words. You're like, "Oh, upgrade, great." She was like, "Yes, the only problem is it's 3 floors up and there's no elevator." Well, on that
Oh,
trip, Stacey had packed her bag. We got her a new bag and didn't realize how big it was. So Stacey's bag, 59 pounds. My bag,
ow.
45 pounds. We had to carry that up 3 very tight flights for one
For
night.
one night only.
Wow.
Oh my God, for one night.
Oh
Then
my
we had to
God.
figure out how to get it. Now, getting it back down was a little easier. We literally put it on its side and like slid it slowly down.
Long
Yeah.
as they filmed it, but we
Yeah.
have enough hands to film it and do it at the same time.
So
Creative, right?
that was tough. That was,
It's brutal.
but once we got up to the room and laid down and took a nap because we were so tired, it was a beautiful room with this incredible balcony and beautiful view. So we have been really lucky thus far.
We have had issues sometimes with like the air conditions not working
Yeah.
or things like that,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but nothing like
Nothing that's been
major.
like, yeah, dirty or bad or something.
Yeah.
I was lucky when I did my tour. I had Marriott and all of their properties were under renovating. Like that was the year they were either building new ones or new hotels or renovating. And Holiday Inn just came out with the Holiday Inn Express line, so they were all brand new. So when I would go to these little military towns where they didn't have like big hotels, I was just lucky that I was able to get into a room. And like usually I traveled with someone, a friend of mine, and Judy came on some of them. The girl that also was my duo partner, and no one else cared about that stuff but me. So I would be like, Judy, we're the first ones ever to stay in this room, and she's like, okay, like she was happy about it, but she wasn't ecstatic about it like I was. Like, do you know what that means? I mean, they're still painting the lobby, and
I remember, I think JD, didn't you and I bond over the fact that we both carried the Clorox disinfectant
yes.
room spray? Yeah, like I thought I was the only one that ever did it, and she thought she was the only one. And when we discovered that we were both fanatical like that, and
Yes, that was
spraying the
bonding.
remote controls and the phones and wiping everything down,
Yeah.
like I was like,
I
oh
think
God, I thought.
Denise, you had me stay at probably the worst hotel I've ever stayed at.
Where was that?
Oh,
At what was that field thing that you did? You were partnering with,
Hellfest.
remember? And then there was like the hotel that was nearby was like, it
The
was
bank?
fine, but do you remember that?
Was it the creepy bank? that was
Yeah.
like, oh God, that was the worst, wasn't it?
That was
Oh my
you.
God.
That was you, man.
And yet,
It was like anything not to stay in a tent, you know?
Yeah.
So I was like,
okay.
you know, like I didn't want to camp, right? And I didn't want anybody that I was with to camp. So I was like, yeah, we'll take the shitty hotel, whatever. Like it was a roof over our head. But when
Right,
we got
right.
there, it felt
A
so
creepy
creepy and
tank.
so hot. There was never like any staff around. Like
No, and it was dark with
in
like no
and
windows.
dark. Yeah, it was like,
Oh
oh
my
my
God.
God, it was the worst. That was the worst. I think
Ah.
I can totally attest and say that was probably the worst place I've ever stayed
Yeah.
in my travels too. Like really, really like
I'm
horrible.
like, this is gonna get me murdered.
I know.
Ah.
Like,
What the
honest
hell?
to God, it's like it's I mean, I like fucking broke the toilet seat and just left.
Oh yeah.
I was like, fuck that, just left it. And it was like,
God.
that was the year that Donna was there, right? Or no?
Yeah.
Yeah. So their
No,
room.
no, Donna wasn't there.
Oh no, no. Okay. I forget who. Oh, maybe it was
Hazel, you and
Hazel.
Gemma.
Right. So like I hold up like the two sides of the toilet seat in the window and then would text Hazel to look out the window.
Oh God.
I was like,
Ah.
but yeah, it was nuts. It was just absolutely disgusting. Yeah, that was brutal. I'll take
Yeah.
that.
Like when I travel with someone, they have to be, so you guys are a couple, so you probably know your little idiosyncrasies, but like when I traveled, like Kelly came with me on a lot of the trips, my BFF, and
Yeah.
she would always be like, okay, you're going up and checking out the room and seeing if you approve of it before I come up with everything. And then I would have this little trick I'll tell you girls in case you are a little bit germophobic. I don't know if you do this, Denise, but this nurse told me this because she was a germaphobe. You take the remote control and you could put it in the ice bucket baggie because that's a light
Oh
baggie, but
yeah, and then not
a
touch. Yeah.
little remote control condom, so to speak, right?
Yeah.
So the signal goes through, but it's covered. But one time, they didn't have one, so I took like a bag, that a little plastic bag I had my stuff in, but it was like crunchy because it was a thicker, not a thin like the one that comes in the ice bucket. And I was like, Kelly was trying to sleep, and I'm like, what the fuck are you? Like, she's all quiet, trying to. I thought she was sleeping, and then all of a sudden, she's like,
Yeah, I could
"What
picture
the
that. I could
fuck are you
totally picture
doing?"
that.
So
I think
I'm a
I've
little
gotten better.
not easy to
In my
travel
old
with,
age,
but
I've gotten a little bit better.
got
But
a
yeah,
little bit better too. But it's nice that you guys can do this, and those things don't bother you, because I'd have to be traveling with very specific people that could deal with me. Because I love the idea of doing that, you know. And when I did my touring for the troops, I picked the hotels and I got lucky, like I said. But you know, I just didn't know going to like Guantanamo Bay what that was going to be like, or where they were
Yeah.
going to.
that'd be
But
it.
I was wanted to go, so I just threw caution to the wind, and I'm like, I don't care. I'm just going to go, and whatever it is. And they put us up in very nice um, townhouses that were the officers' guest quarters. So we got lucky there too. But
Excellent.
anyway, I just always wonder when people do something like what you're doing, it's a bit going into the unknown, right? Because you don't know what this new town in another part of the world is going to be like. And you can't always just say, I'm going to go someplace else because I don't like this place we're at,
Yeah.
much like the bank Denise put.
Well, also like a lot of times too is like we're comped on the hotel.
Oh, that's nice. That's
So
great.
it's like, yeah, so it's like you deal with it or, find other
Yeah.
accommodations. So
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they know you're coming, and you like have it set up ahead of time that you're going to be speaking with certain people. And I'm sorry, I missed this part of what you were talking
that's
about.
okay.
So I'm catching
Yeah.
up, jumping.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Like that, I
That's
used to
awesome.
love going to Women Fest in Key West every,
Yeah.
was it Labor Day week? Or like that last week of August, first week of September. Just, women take over the island and there's parties just going on everywhere. And we would host at, in the beginning, it was Pearl's Rainbow, and then
Yeah.
Southernmost Hotel. And
Pearl. I remember Pearl.
Pearls was so fun. Uh, and you get comped, and it's like for me, the only thing that was important was that the room had like ice cold AC, because
Ah,
you would
yeah.
think, in September, maybe in the Keys, that it wouldn't be that bad, but the humidity, like you could just push it out of the way of your face. You know what I mean? Like it was just thick and disgusting. And like in every restaurant and venue would have the misters, so then you were wet on top
Oh,
of
yeah.
it, sweating with everything. So you just wanted to get to your room, like your clothes made a noise because they were
Oh,
cold.
God, it was so
When you
heavy.
dropped them on the tile floor, it was like this smack.
Oh,
Yeah, disgusting. And you just wanted to stand in front of the air conditioner. It was insane. But yeah, I think that, I think they want to do a little better if they're throwing you the room, hopefully
Right. That's
it's going to
true.
be
Like
a
the
nice room.
upgrade.
It's going to reflect on them, where you're
yeah,
filming and all that. So
yeah.
that's hugely important, especially going into weird places. Are there places that you might be fearful of going to, or is nothing off limits?
Well, that kind of comes up
Yeah.
in our next episode that's coming out this Sunday, because we went to Jamaica, and Jamaica does not have the best LGBTQ friendly history.
Yeah.
And that was one of our big concerns going there. And we're very, very honest about it, about, and like, it was a family vacation. So we were in a very nice, like, resort. We decided to do an episode on it. And that's one of the things that we do talk about is how, and the good news is, like, spoiler, like, we did feel very safe on the resort, but
Mhm.
we definitely were not going to
We
leave the
didn't leave
resort,
it though.
like,
Right.
at all.
Right.
So, we kind of we try to be very honest about stuff like that. You know what I mean?
You gotta be.
Um,
I mean, you're literally putting
Yeah.
out information for people that may want to be traveling and looking for
Exactly.
a community. So yeah, it is something that you kind of have to be, honest about that kind of thing. Were you able to find people there that would be open and speak to you guys?
we didn't try to do any interviews there.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a mini episode. Um, because like I said, we were going for uh for what my family holiday. So
Oh,
it was like more like a bit of an introduction to, like, it was more like a personal one.
oh, cool. Okay.
Yeah. So that's one of our more like personal episodes.
Yeah, that's interesting because, like, honestly, like there's when I think about places outside of your typical touristy, you know, um, I guess LGBT friendly places, what like when, for instance, when we were on the Sweet Cruise, being on the boat with 1,200 lesbians, fantastic, but then getting off in Belize or Honduras where there were armed guards
Yeah.
felt weird, so
Right.
there were quite a few places that I just opted not to get off the boat. Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
and then finally I had to in Cozumel because Gemma wanted puka shells.
Yeah.
Like
We
I
know
literally had to.
I think it's important. Like, we're partnering with Diva Destinations, which is a UK based travel company.
Great company, yeah.
We interviewed them, and one of the things that they talk about a lot is that when they plan their trips, and they go everywhere. They went to Egypt recently. They'll go down, like, a trip down the Nile. They're going to Costa Rica. They're going, they go, but they say, like, they make sure that women that go feel safe, that they're taken care of, that the companies that they work with understand, not just a group of women, but a group of queer women.
Right.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that's one of the things that if someone is nervous about traveling alone or with someone they want to go to a place, finding a group like that where you can, feel safe. When Sweet Cruises happened, I think, again, you felt safe on the ship, but there's not a lot they can do excursion wise.
Right. Yeah,
That's
it was one
part of
thing
it.
to go and do the excursion because you were with like 25 or 30, 50, whatever other women. So you had your
Mhm.
pack with you. But like, let's be honest, I wasn't there to paint classrooms and plant trees. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was there to gamble.
Right. Right.
So it was a different experience for me than it was for everybody else. But I'm just saying, like, that that fear of looking over the side of the boat and watching people get off, but they're being armed guards, there just made me like a little queasy. Like I was like, nah,
Yeah.
I'm staying on the boat. Like I don't want to do that. But I mean, I never heard anything negative about anybody when they got back on the, but still, it's just one of those things like you personally have to feel okay with doing stuff like that, And you're right. I think Diva Destinations is fantastic. And they aren't about the touristy places. They go like to some really interesting, they are destination driven.
Yeah.
Like it's definitely not about like it's for you to travel. Like it's for travelers.
Yeah, it's like bucket list travel, right?
Yeah,
Like
yes,
it's
yeah.
Right.
So many people like this was on my bucket list, and it's
Yeah.
like, yep. And so they do that. They're going to Japan in March. Like, there's probably a lot of people. I wouldn't know how to navigate Japan, so I'm jumping with the group.
Yeah, that's the best part of doing those kinds of things too, is that you are with a group and a tour guide that they've lined up and all that kind of stuff. Yeah,
Exactly.
Definitely. Because I watch a travel show over here with this little tiny lesbian named Susan Coleman. She's from Scotland. She's like this big. I'm serious. She's like really 5 foot, 5'1", if that. A chubby comedian, hilarious, and she does all these very interesting cruises in places like the French Polynesian and things like that. And then she went on an Arctic one that took her to the Arctic, and I could not believe the things like I was stunned to learn that you had to wear regulation boots that they provide for you when you get off, because
right,
disturb any of that ecosystem. You can't walk where penguins walked, or they won't be able to find their way back.
Oh,
you can't.
Really?
It was just
That's cool.
Wow.
And like they were kayaking through like icy, rivers and stuff. And then the tour guide would like hold their hands up, and everybody would stop, and it would get really quiet. And you had to let like this family of penguins or whatever like go by and not make any noise. And it was really insane. The way they keep it, everything is absolutely pristine. It's like the way you found it is the way you're leaving it. And then you go back on and it's a very small ship, like 200 passengers, and insanely expensive, but very personal. Like it felt very personal. And the same with like Norway, like that looked like a really fun, cool cruise. But a lot of times she'll say, I feel safe because I'm with a camera crew,
Oh, right.
Like, do your research. She'll always say that, like, do your research.
Oh, yeah.
Going. So she's not just, telling anybody like, hey, yeah, it doesn't matter if you're queer, you can go here. No, do your research. I feel safe because I've got a crew around me and all that kind of stuff. So it is.
I'm thinking that.
And worrisome, like these times obviously are worrisome. Well, you guys, I am so happy for you that this is going so well. You're up to episode what?
4 is coming out.
Okay.
And then we actually added a 6th. We added Santa Fe. We weren't originally going to do that, but we have an editor.
Salsa was so good.
Salsa.
Right, and I loved being there so much. I'm like so excited to get that episode out because I want everybody to see how amazing.
That's awesome. That's fantastic. You guys, best of luck moving forward, and keep us posted when you're coming to our areas. Awesome. Okay, ladies, have a great evening. Love you both. Bye.
I wake up in the morning with voices in my head. I try to find a reason to get out of my bed. My mind is so distracted by what used to be a dream. The best things in life aren't always what they seem. I'll start a new page, take a new direction, dance in the rain. storm. I'll find my way on my own. I'm almost home. There's a freedom in the feeling. There's nothing left to lose. And my future destination will be what I will choose. I know life can be tough. I'll be a little tougher when I see the lightning. I won't fear the thunder. I'll start a new page, take a new direction, dance in the rain, try some reinvention. With faith I will get through the storm. I'll find my way on my own. I'm almost home. Sometimes it was a hunger that kept me alive, but I've made my peace and I have survived. I'm almost home. Life can be tough. I'll be a little tougher when I see the lightning. I won't fear the thunder. I'll start a new page, take a new direction, dance in the rain, try some reinvention. With faith I will get through the storm. I'll find my way on my own. I'm almost home. I'm almost